Hi, my name is Brandon Borup and I'm the percussion instructor at Amarillo College and Bushland ISD. Today we're going to be talking about the snare drum etude for the all-region etude number 2, year C. Okay, let's go ahead and jump in and get started. We'll start with a play along for you. I've got my metronome set to a quarter note and it's set to 72 beats per minute. 1, 2, ready. So let's talk about this etude just a little bit. So right away, I noticed that this is primarily rudimentally based in its style. And so I went ahead and wrote down all of the rudiments that I've observed throughout it here. There are 8 rudiments, and I'll start in order. Number 4, buzz roll. It happens at measure 6. Number 7, 5-stroke roll. That happens in measure 7, beat 4. We have a 9-stroke roll, that's rudiment number 10, and it happens on beat 4 of the second measure, so it happens pretty early on in the piece. Okay, we've got some regular paradiddles. I noticed that we have some in measure 7 on beats 1 and 2. We've got double paradiddle, that's rudiment number 17. And it happens on beat 1 of measure 5. And then we have single paradiddle diddle, and that happens on the te of beat 2, also in measure 5. And then there are flams throughout the entire piece, off the right hand and the left hand, so make sure that you're observing the sticking. And we have some Swiss Army triplets. They don't appear in the same notation durations that we see in our 40 standard rudiments, but they happen in measure 9 in an 8th note form. So let's go through this piece line by line. Of course, when you're trying to be successful at anything in percussion, we always want to be using a metronome. So make sure that you have that handy. A metronome that can indicate where beat 1 is by playing perhaps a higher pitch is also going to be in your favor because it'll help you be able to determine if you played the measure correctly. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this. So make sure that you observe that we have pickups. It happens on beat 4, and we want to take in that it's mezzo forte. So not too loud. We can hold back. We can play with a little bit of restraint right there as in terms of dynamic. We've got some regular paradiddles that happen on measure 3. Make sure that you're solid on the counting of beat 3 in measure 2. It goes 3 top to forte teto 1, but with rolls. 3 top to forte 1. And so make sure that you're playing a double stroke roll in measure 2 as well. So that way we get a rhythm versus a buzzed sound. These are supposed to be open, rudimental style rolls, and so we want to be implementing doubles whenever we play this. Okay, so let's play through that first line a couple of times. So always count off in your head. 1, 2, 3. Forte, take a 1, take a take 3, take a forte, 1, take a top to 4. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3. Make sure that you observe that all of the flams in measure 1 are on the left hand. And so we want to be following the sticking as strictly as possible. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next line. So we just have some accents placed along the 16th notes right here. To me, it's really important that you know where all of the accents lie on the hands. So you need to know the sticking really well. You need to know that the first 3 accents happen all on the right hand, and the fourth accent happens on the ta of 3 with our left hand. So we want to keep that strict and in time, and always conforming to the right hand lead system that you probably already use. So right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left. And I think I accidentally added a flam to beat 4 right there. Let me do it again. 1, 2, 2. Be careful not to accent the next note in measure 4 on beat 1. I feel like that's a writing trap that they wrote there. They're going to be listening for you to play an accent on beat 1, because that's kind of our comfort zone as percussionists, is to land on beat 1. So be careful to resist that temptation to play an accent right there. We have a right hand flam on beat 2 inside of the 4th measure, and then we have a triplet inside of there on beat 3 going into beat 4, and I'm pretty sure that is the only tripletized rhythm inside the whole piece. So we want to make sure that we're super accurate on there. Make sure that you can count it well. So 1 ta 2 ta 3 lolly 4, or if you want to count it a little bit easier, hopper grass 2 ta pineapple 4. I'll do it again. We're ready, go. Hopper grass 2 ta pineapple 4. And so I find that using words that have the same number of syllables as the rhythm does really works out. So let's take a look at the 3rd measure, though, of the 2nd line. What would be measure 5? This is where we have some tricky stickings. We have our first paradiddle, which is going to be right, left, right, left, right, right. And then we have a paradiddle diddle off of the left hand, a single paradiddle diddle, and it'll go left, right, left, left, right, right, left. And make sure that you resolve that paradiddle diddle off the left hand, okay? It's going to feel a little funky for you to land on a downbeat on beat 4 with your left hand, but that is what's being asked of us, so we got to make sure that we're playing that correctly. So that measure by itself, which I would highly suggest of just playing that measure by itself several times. Here we go. Again, go. Right, right, left, left, left. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and write in the sticking for that last note. We need to play that note off of the left hand also, because we all know that we're much more comfortable starting a roll off of our right hand. And look at what measure 6 does. It starts on a buzz roll, so we need to be setting ourselves up for success. So make sure you play the ta 4 off of your left hand so that you can play that buzz roll off of your right hand. Let's play line 2 by itself now. Again, we've got the metronome set to 72. We want to always be using it whenever we're practicing. 1, 2, set, go. Oh, let me try again. 2, ready, go. Again, ready, go. Good. So let's start on the 3rd line now. Turn the metronome off so I'm not talking over it. So it starts out with a buzz roll. And we want to be sure that we're using the correct duration on these buzz rolls whenever we're playing them. I personally like doing 6 couplets. That's how it would sound if I wasn't playing the roll. You could also do 16th notes, but I find that that does not fill the space quite as well as the triplet high 16ths. Let's compare the two and just see which one you like better. Now with 16th notes, here I go. As you can see, the triplet high 16ths fill in that space a little bit better than the 16th notes. So I would highly suggest to learning how to do that, and take it slow and just go 2, 3, 4. So let's move on. The second measure of that third line has 2 paradiddles, and then we have some singles that go into a 5-stroke roll. Again, we have open stroke roll here, so this needs to sound like a rhythm. It needs to sound like 5 clear notes. 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every time that we do that. So right, right, left, left, right is how I would perform that. I'll put the metronome on and we'll play that measure by itself a couple of times. 1, 2, ready, go, and 2, again, go. You'll also notice that I'm increasing the volume. If we look at the bottom, underneath the sticking, there is a crescendo right there that goes from mezzo piano to forte. Again, play with me, ready, go. Great. And then if you'll take a look at the last measure, we have a regular accented note followed by 4 flammed notes. And so visually we should be able to see where the upstrokes and the downstrokes happen to create our grace notes. And so that first one, the first flam, starts on our left hand, so we're going to play the grace note off of our right hand. So it'll go from the beginning of the measure, 1, tay, 2, tay, ready, tay, go, tay, 1, tay, 2, tay, 3, tay, 4. And you should be able to visually see my hands exchanging their roles and playing the grace note and the primary note. You should also be able to see that from your point of view whenever you're playing the snare drum. And I'll do it a couple more times just so you can see it. 1, 2, set, tay, go, tay, 1, tay, 2, tay, 3, tay, 4. We want the grace note to be as low as possible, lower than a tap even. So make sure that you're observing that whenever you're making your way through the piece. Let's play the third line by itself. 2, ready, go. Try it again. 1, 2, ready, go. Again. 2, ready, go. One more time. 2, ready, go. Good. Okay, let's take a look at those last 3 measures. So we have some Swiss Army triplets. That's what we're going to have a flam followed by a right hand followed by a left hand. You can also do it off of the left hand as well, where it's flam on the left hand tap, and then a right hand tap. But this is a very common sticking that we see a lot, not only in rudimental drumming, but orchestral drumming, concert style drumming as well, where this will be a good way to get us out of a sticky situation where we're wanting to land on our right hand again, and perhaps the sticking is working out while we're landing on our left hand. We don't want to do that. So let's play through those real quick. 1, tay, 2, tay, ready, tay, go, tay, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right. And we have a decrescendo accompanying that as well. And our loudest dynamic of the piece, I believe, which is fortissimo. Notice that there are 2 Fs, and that means fortissimo. That's another level higher than forte. And so we need to start with a really, really big sound. One way that you can use the drum to your advantage is to start that figure in the center of the drum head and slowly move it into the in-between zone of the rim and the edge. Excuse me, the center of the drum head and the edge. So, watch me do it. So, very easy to do and to master, just using that push-pull, and that will help us be able to control our dynamics. And the last measure is just an accents over 16th notes they seem to be forming a hemiola type of rhythm where it feels like triplets, but it's not quite triplets, but we're not going to get into that today. And it looks like the lowest dynamic of the piece, which is pianissimo, we have 2 Ps, that's a dynamic lower than piano, and it goes up to forte. Let's play that once together. 1, 2, set, te, go, te. 2, again, go. Right, left, right. Good. Let's play that line together now. 1, 2, ready, te, go, te. Good. Okay, a couple of other suggestions that I think will help you be successful in your audition is consider taking your own drum. You will be used to the way it feels. The tension on the drum head can be inconsistent from drum to drum. As we all know, everybody has their own tuning style. So if you take your own drum, it will help you feel more comfortable in that situation. Also, take time to tune your drum really, really well. Having a short, tight sound on the snare drum is what we're looking for. I'm sure you'll notice that I was using a small towel, and I've also got a little binder clip that I use to clip that towel on there so it doesn't fall off. I just clip it to the rim. I'm also using a moon gel underneath that as well to help control some of the ring. And here, I'll take these items off so you can really hear the difference. We get a lot of twang out of the drum then, which is uncharacteristic of the sound that we're looking for, versus having all this on here. It's a very short, secco sound, and that is what we're used to hearing whenever we hear snare drum. So, I hope that this video helped you today. If you would like any help with your percussionist or private lessons, feel free to reach out to me or the music office at Amarillo College, and we would love to help you. Thank you so much. My name is Brandon Borup, and you have a great day.